So after being gone for about a week after last week's pay-per-view match, also known as the presidential debates, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. finally returned with its third episode of Season 4 entitled Uprising, and when I saw that title, I'm like, what exactly is going to be the Uprising? Because I fear that they might be retreading some old familiar ground that I'm getting kind of tired of. And sure enough, it seemed that way at the beginning, because I was not a huge fan of having that anonymous voice, that deep voice, that dude in the shadows saying, we are the, what was it, the Inhuman Resistance, and we're going to strike every major city until you guys cater to our needs, meet our demands, and make sure that this Registration Act is over. And I'm like, come on, how many times have we seen that dude in the shadows? I'm believing that they're using the exact same dude in every single video, and I am kind of tired of that trope in movies, in TV shows, in video games. I feel like we've seen that time after time again, done to death, that I was for the most part very relieved to learn that this was just a ploy by the Watchdogs to kind of set up the Inhumans so that they could be destroyed, because obviously somebody's backing up the Watchdogs and feeding them this information that is supposed to be classified. It also made sense for them to be the Watchdogs, because otherwise how would those guys that were posing as these people that were fighting back the resistance, which, truth be told, on one hand did kind of interest me, like, okay, I don't like the cliche that is an Inhuman's resistance, but at least there's going to be a counter-resistance, and the war on the streets between these two factions would have been interesting. Granted, it would have been a little large in scale for a TV show. But them being Watchdogs made sense, because it was just utterly convenient that they struck the same exact place that Yo-Yo was at in that party. So I was very happy to see that it was the Watchdogs, because they had that concrete information to go on, and that also trails back to that senator that we saw a couple of moments, only to learn that she herself is not only part of the plan, but likely is the one feeding this information to the Watchdogs. Now, it'll be a stretch for her to be the only one funding them, because we saw her walk out of the apartment, and apparently her husband was, I think, or whatever, whoever that person was, I'm believing it's her husband, got turned into that statue, and maybe that's what gives her that personal vendetta versus the Inhumans. But at the same time, it's a little bit, I don't know, it's just kind of small in comparison. Like, just because of this one thing, you're gonna wage war on all the Inhumans, and her alone is able to cause all this damage. There needs to be something else at play here. Here's the deal though, with this week's episode, because of how much they emphasize the involvement of the Watchdogs with this whole thing, with all these repercussions that happened after Civil War, all the other things that happened in this episode kind of took a step back. Not only did we not see the ghosts at all, they were completely omitted from this week's episode, but Coulson and his team, their little excursion with Yo-Yo was kind of procedural. It was kind of by the book Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D, although it did lead to a really cool fight scene in that little area where they were having the party. Not the one with the EMP, I thought that was just kind of pretty basic, but it was the one where there were an awful lot of handheld long take shots with Coulson kicking ass, Mac doing the thing that he does best. But the surprising moment was when Fitz took what looked like a scissors or whatever and stabbed the dude. I was like, damn, Fitz just went hard. And then Daisy and Robbie going back to their place and just having a couple of conversations didn't really amount to a whole lot, except for the little, much more proper introduction to Gabe, Robbie's younger brother, who was not what we expected him to be, because he's in his wheelchair, he learns about Daisy and her human abilities, and you were expecting him to play off as that secondary character who's like, oh, that's cool, I'll keep your secret, don't worry, everything's okay. No, he was like, oh, you're an Inhuman. Get the fuck out. Really off-putting. It kind of caught me off guard, considering that this is the brother, the younger brother, the disabled younger brother of the fucking Spirit of Vengeance. So that's very offbeat, but I liked it, and I'm looking forward to seeing how that whole triangle plays out. The only other highlight would have to be that May dies in this episode. For 7 minutes. Yeah, that entire scene, despite having just an inkling of me that, oh, she was going to be fine because they can't kill her off this early in the season. If they were going to kill off a character like that, it would have to be like a mid-season finale type of thing, or even a season finale as a whole, possibly next year. But being that it's not only Agent May, a character that we really care about, but also a character that we really care about in a state that we've never seen before, with her just screaming at the top of her lungs, being restrained back. Like, we never seen Agent May like that before. So when they brought forward the proposition of killing her off, well, not killing her off, but killing her, essentially putting her down so that they can hopefully jumpstart her again, kind of like a computer. I just thought about that. They fucking rebooted May like a computer. Like, she got blue screen and they had to oh man, that really makes me laugh. Nonetheless, still had me at the edge of my seat, even though I kind of sort of knew that she was going to be okay. But that moment where the power went out, that was a perfect screenwriting teleplay moment, because it was one of those instances where a screenwriter really took advantage of the rules that they set up with the universe. So I really loved that they took advantage of this whole EMP things, putting blackouts in the cities, cutting off all the power. So why don't we cut off the power to the things that are helping them resuscitate May? So that was a very tense moment that almost had me second guessing whether or not May was going to come back. A lot of fun moments in this week's episode of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D, but also an awful lot of other basic moments that weren't bad, but they were just very procedural for the nature that is the show. However, it was much more coherent taking out the whole ghost element, because otherwise then it would have felt a little bit more cluttered. So this wasn't necessarily one of my favorite episodes of season 4 so far, but still a good entry. So I'm going to give Uprising a low 8 out of 10. It's definitely one of the weaker ones so far this season, but still keeps me engaged into what's going to happen next. So please let me know in the comments below what you guys thought of this week's episode of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Please like and share this video. Please keep in touch by subscribing and make sure you hit that bell right next to the subscribe button to become part of the notification squad. And also be sure to follow me on my gaming channel. I got a gaming channel, if you guys don't know, for those of you who are new, and on there I'll be posting a brand new video every single week of this month. At least that's my intention. There's going to be a couple of playthroughs centered around horror games. Spoiler alert, I jump a handful of times.
Oh jeez, not cool, man.
A couple times. Letting you guys know, you can check that out on my gaming channel, Abridged Plays, link in the description, as well as somewhere in an annotation or card of some kind in this video. Anyways, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.